with you in this video how to be consistent long term when you're in the process of creating your goals and desires, because I really believe that when you're in the process of creating what you want, when you're being the person that you want to be, when you're trying to get a result in your life, it's going to be so easy to just go back to the old way, to go back to who you used to be, instead of being consistently that new person you've decided to be. I think that there's going to be many times in life to take those opportunities to be who we used to be and then neglect that decision that we made to be the person that we actually want. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how not to do that so that you can continue on being that person that you did actually decide to be and commit to that 100%. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you in terms of how to really do this, how to be consistent in the long term. Maybe you might not feel like it, maybe you have doubts, you have concerns, but how do you just do it anyway? When you're creating what you want, what is the first step? I do believe that it's remembering the vision. This is just, to me, so important because there's going to be times where you genuinely don't want to continue. You don't feel like it's going to be appropriate for you to continue. You don't want to do it anymore. There is no part of you that wants to do it anymore. So, well, what do you really do in that situation? Well, I think that the first thing that we can start to do is just remember why it is that we're doing what we're doing. What's the reason that we're actually creating? So why are you taking the actions that you're taking in your life every single day? Well, why are you doing it? Because when you feel like you don't want to be consistent, when you feel like there's a reason for you not to be consistent, just remember your values once again. Remind yourself the reason you're doing it. What's the reason? Because you need to have a powerful reason. You need to have a powerful why. Like nobody else is going to wake you up in the morning to motivate you really at the end of the day. You could probably pay somebody, you could probably convince somebody, whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you need to be the one that really does it. You need to be the one that makes the decision, And remember, a lot of the times, motivation is not going to be how you feel when you wake up in the morning. Like, you're not going to feel motivated. I had to come to the realization that I do believe that really motivation was never true. I had to come to this realization that feeling motivated has very little to do with how, if you should take action or not. How probable you are to take action shouldn't really depend on your mood. It shouldn't depend on how you feel in the morning. You taking action and you being consistent day in, day out, every single day, in the long term, bigger picture, how are you going to do this? Well, you're going to need to remember the vision and understand your purpose, the reason that you're doing what you're doing, because there's going to come a point, again, where you might not feel like doing stuff, and then so why are you doing it? I think that these reminders can help us to continue, help us to be the person that we want to be, and then realize that you don't need to believe in sort of any negative story or like something telling you that you can't continue. Because a lot of times it's just a feeling, right? That's all it is. You wake up in the morning and it's like you feel like you shouldn't do something. But it's like so interesting because for me personally, I've proven to myself time and time again, over and over and over and over, I've just proven this to myself where if I don't feel like doing something, almost like 90%, if I just start taking action, the feeling of, not wanting to stop taking action comes after. So it's like, yeah, at the beginning, like I didn't even want to take action. Once I start taking action, it's like I don't even want to stop taking action anymore because I'm so in the flow. I have so much momentum, so much consistency where it's like I don't even remember why I didn't even want to start in the first place. It's like I have a complete 180 flip. And I've proven to myself this over and over and over again where it's like if I don't feel like doing something, but I take action anyway, I start to feel better, where all those feelings of not wanting to do it just weren't really true or don't matter anymore once I'm actually doing the thing that makes me feel better. So whatever that feeling is, it's like you don't feel like it, you don't feel motivated, you believe you can't, just take action and then replace that feeling with action. And what you'll find is that you forgot why you even felt upset to begin with. What happened, It's really interesting. It's like the classic example. You wake up in the morning, you're under the bed sheets and you just want to stay so comfortable in your bed sheets, but you know that if you stay there too long, it's going to become uncomfortable. The reason why it feels so comfortable is because of that lack of, not having it 24/7. That's what makes humans miss something, is the lack of it. And even though lack never existed, the absence of something temporarily can make you want it more. That's just what happens. So as you're living through your life, I highly invite and encourage you just to remind yourself the bigger vision. Because here's the way that I want to conclude this first point. Before moving on to the second point is, if you don't have a powerful why and a powerful enough reason, that's not going to be enough to take action every single day for 5 to 10 years and just do it. Just like clockwork, no decision-making fatigue. You don't wake up in your morning and it's should I do this or should I not do it? It's you don't have time for that. If you're serious about your vision, if you're serious about what you want to create, you need to eliminate, in my personal opinion, all decision-making fatigue as much as possible. Just let it all go. And then if you really want to take action for 5 to 10 years consistently and you really want to see that happen, you're good. That's not going to happen without a powerful why. Just feeling motivated is not enough. Motivation, where some days you feel motivated and then some days you feel not motivated, and then that's going to be what defines if you're action taking, that's not going to lead to success. A success needs to be that you take action no matter how you feel, because it's a discipline, because it's a commitment that you made to yourself. It's something that you believe you have. Here's the question. Whatever you want in your life, who do you believe you have to be in order to achieve the result? And oftentimes I'm going to make a claim here that you know the answer. You know exactly who you need to be. You know exactly what you have to do. And if you're honest with yourself, you know what the answer is. But it's oftentimes we don't want to look at that because we want to keep reading more, watching more videos, doing more research, right? Doing this. And it's oftentimes it's no, it's actually, you already know what you have to do. You already know what path you need to take, but you need to commit to that. And then when you feel like you don't want to do it, you need to remind yourself of that answer again. What do you have to be? Who do you need to be? How badly do you want the vision? Because it's if you don't even remember the vision and why you're doing it, if you want to be consistent for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you really need a powerful why. You just need a powerful why and a powerful reason as to why you're doing what you're doing and what's quote unquote motivating you. But remember, motivation is a lie. Ultimately speaking, it's just about deciding and committing to something, having a powerful reason, removing the decision-making fatigue process, and then now you're consistently taking action every single day without hesitation. There's no room left for hesitation because you've already decided the plan, and now all you have to do is just simply follow through with the plan and then see what happens as a result. And then so the second thing that I want to share with you in this video is just to understand that I do believe that long-term effort and consistency creates leverage. And then so what happens is that when you have a very, very high skill set in something, because you've put in so much long-term effort and consistency, you're going to have leverage. You're going to have a high skill set, and then people are going to want you in that area. They're going to depend on you because nobody else has as much experience as you do. So the way to be consistent when you're, long-term, when you're creating what you want, is to understand that, remember, at the end of that path, when you become who you want to be, when you've put in, 10,000 hours, 100,000 hours into your craft, you're now going to be having such high leverage that it's simply not going to make sense for anybody else to not go to you, to not want to go to you for whatever that thing is, because you've created so much leverage for yourself. Leverage is so powerful. What is leverage? It means that you've put in so much time, so much effort into something that it almost becomes a no-brainer. It's this person is become overqualified for what you want. Become the person that somebody needs in whatever area. Whatever a person needs, become that. And then so now you're going to be able to get the results that you're looking for because you understand that you have leverage now, and people are going to want to come to you for whatever you're selling or whatever value you're offering in the world. Because who else are they going to go to? Are you going to go to the person that's a hyper specialist that put in hundreds of thousands of hours into something, or the person that just started yesterday? Who are you going to trust more? Now, of course, you might be willing to trust that person that doesn't have 100,000 hours, and technically they could be better. But if you look at what's happening on paper and you analyze a person without knowing them, oftentimes, most of the time, You're going to trust the person more that has more time invested. Just not every single time, but statistically speaking, is the person more likely to be chosen if they have hundreds of thousand hours or less hours? Like, what do you think? I would definitely choose the person that has hundreds of thousands of hours because they have leverage. They probably know more about what they're telling you than somebody that just started the path. So be consistent for such a long period of time where now people depend on you. People need you. People actually value you so strongly, and they can't really think to go to anybody else because they see that you're the solution. And so the third thing that I want to share with you in this video is just to remember that I really do believe that if we want to be consistent long term when we're creating what we want and we're in the process of creating our goals and desires, is to really understand that this idea of creating something instantly in your life or right away, or create something really fast, I think that we need to stop doing this in our life. Just stop it. Remove the, and don't get me wrong, if that's a genuine desire that you have, I'm not here to stop you. If you have a desire to create things instantly because you just have a fun in doing that, that's possible. But what I want to share with you is that if you're serious about that, then really the best thing to do is to let go of the need for that to happen, be consistent long term, and then just simply put yourself in a position where you have a very high probability of those things happening anyway, but you don't need them. Because if you want to, create something overnight, oftentimes if you're consistent every single day for multiple years, you have now a higher probability of something happening like that. You look at a one-hit wonder or a viral YouTube video or something that somebody creates and you think like, well, how does that happen? Like, is that just lucky? I don't believe in luck anymore. I think that luck isn't even real. What is really luck? I think that luck is ultimately just really preparedness plus opportunity. That's all it really is. It's just, how prepared are you for the opportunities that come in your life? Because let me ask you something. How many opportunities did you not notice today because you simply weren't prepared enough to see them? See, a lot of people want stuff in their life. They say that they want something in their life, but I'm going to tell you that there's been many opportunities for you to act upon it, to do something about it, to get closer to the goal, but you didn't do it. And you might say, well, I didn't notice the opportunity. Well, maybe because you weren't looking for it. Maybe you weren't prepared enough to see that opportunity and to see that that opportunity has always been there. See, opportunities always exist. There's never been a lack of opportunities. Opportunities have never been lacking. I think that we need to remember that if you believe that something is lacking, it's really a limiting belief because the opportunities have always been there. There's never not been an opportunity for you to get closer to what you want. They always exist. The question is that, are you open to them? And are you taking action consistently towards them where now you're naturally in a position to be able to instantly create something or have overnight success or, have some things happen quicker than other people because you put in that work before. People that have things happen quickly to them, oftentimes what people neglect on the outside is how much work and the consistency that they put in way before all of that happened. Way before the success happened. They didn't see the build-up. They didn't see the build-up process to what led to the result. Oftentimes, if you look at a person that has successful results, what you won't see, again, is the consistent action long-term that they put in before that result happens. So my invitation to you is just stop trying to create things instantly. And then remember that instant gratification is often going to lead to failure. Instead of wanting things to happen instantly and having instant gratification and only basing your pleasure system on short-term pleasures, start to build more pleasure and joy by building something long-term, by building something that's going to sustain you, that's going to actually be there for you on a consistent basis over a long period of time. Because if you're just getting something that's making you happy in the short term, but you're not building anything in the long term, then that's only going to suck the energy from your soul. You might be happy today, but how do you feel tomorrow once that happiness is gone today? You might feel like something gives you happiness for 2 seconds, but what's left after that? What's left in the long term? I think that we need to remember what gives us long-term peace, long-term happiness, and to remember that instant gratification is not going to help you get that. If you want long-term peace, long-term happiness, you need to take actions to be a person that values long-term success. success that doesn't happen in 2 days or 4 days. Something that you can build in 5 to 10 years, where you don't need overnight success. You're gonna build something slowly, have a long-term plan, but then maybe somewhere along the path as you do that, you have some overnight successes and people think, well, that person's so lucky. No, not really. You don't see yourself as lucky because you see that luck, once again, is really preparedness plus opportunity. Preparedness plus opportunity is what luck is, because now instead of waiting for stuff to happen, you're going and looking for opportunities and actioning towards them every single day. You're taking action towards them and you're being the person that you need to be to get the result that you actually want to see